We've gathered 3 ice cream experts to blind taste test every vanilla ice cream we could get our hands on to see which ones meet their standards. Häagen-Dazs Vanilla.
The color is like a super pale yellow, so not a lot of egg yolk.
It's not the most aesthetically vanilla looking ice cream I've ever seen.
No vanilla seeds.
Potentially this isn't like the most premium ice cream.
So when it comes to vanilla ice cream, there's just a couple of things that I'm looking for. There should be a good vanilla quality.
Seeing those flecks of a real vanilla bean, that to me indicates something more premium.
You should be able to smell it.
When it comes to dairy,
You want it to be rich.
full fat,
Obviously, I'm looking for a great texture.
a smooth, even melt on the tongue.
It should melt in your mouth quite fast, and that will deliver flavor.
And finally, I am looking for a balanced sweetness.
It's what my kids probably think's the best part about ice cream.
The vanilla here fades very quickly.
It's hardly there at all.
I don't think this is real vanilla.
As far as richness goes, it's pretty thin there as well.
It melts so quickly on the tongue. It feels like it's really milky as opposed to creamy.
Texturally, it's really not bringing a lot to the table.
It's definitely got some ice crystals in there. Doesn't really have that like luxurious velvety mouthfeel that I'm looking for.
The sweetness is pretty right on. It feels like the amount of sugar you would need to eat an entire 2 scoops and not feel like you ate a pound of sugar. All right. Oh my God.
Häagen-Dazs, you can do better. Häagen-Dazs was born right here in New York City in the Bronx. They made up the name and they wanted it to sound European because that at the time signified like high-end luxury. 5 ingredients. That's really nice to see. There's no stabilizers.
Which means that the yolk that you can see acts as that.
It's a pretty straightforward product.
The first ingredient here is cream.
That's good. We want that. But the second ingredient is skim milk. And that to me is just making it feel way too light and almost like watery on the mouth.
Once you look into the container, you can see that it has like that hint of yellow in it, which correlates to the presence of yolk.
So they're using the lecithin from the egg yolks as a natural stabilizer, which in my eyes is a premium trait.
That would be a French style ice cream.
There are 2 types of ice cream. There's French style and there's Philadelphia style. Häagen-Dazs is French style, which contains yolk.
Essentially, you're making a custard before you're freezing it. Philadelphia style doesn't have any eggs.
One's not better than the other by any means. I like the richness. I like the flavor that egg yolks provide, but they also have a flavor. The ice cream itself, the flavor you're trying to achieve has to be able to stand up to the egg yolks and kind of overcome the egg yolk.
High level looking at ice cream, we're talking about fat, sugar, water, and air.
It's really important to balance those 4 things.
Häagen-Dazs has let me down a little bit here.
Me and Häagen-Dazs have a lot to get through. This might be in my therapy session this week.
Breyer's Natural Vanilla.
I'm seeing some flecks of vanilla, which makes me very happy.
It looks more vanilla than Häagen-Dazs.
Definitely a shade of white, so I'm not seeing a lot of that egg yolk custardiness that we could have in there.
It's got that same one-dimensional vanilla.
It disappears immediately.
I personally would want like a little more fat in there.
It's rich, but it's not necessarily dairy.
I'm not getting ice crystals, so I really like that.
Texture is light and very aerated. There are literally bubbles like popping out.
That tells me there's more air pumped into it, which is known as overrun in the ice cream making process.
It does enhance some flavors. Vanilla probably not so much, but it also enhances the bottom line, like the profit margin.
Essentially, they're selling you air.
Not incredibly sweet, actually. I could probably have like 2 scoops and not feel like I'm like completely done. If I were to guess, I'd say a less expensive brand, something that's widely available, Breyer's.
Breyer's.
Natural vanilla. Breyer's, yes. So this is a Philadelphia style ice cream, no yolk.
It's not as fatty, super dairy forward on the tongue, and a little lighter and airier. Eggs are also a stabilizer.
The natural lecithin in egg yolks does a lot of the work for you. Problem being is egg yolks are expensive.
To keep its structure, the Philadelphia style ice cream uses Tara gum in the case of Breyer's specifically. And with that gum, you're able to not get that icy mouthfeel. You're also able to not let it melt super quickly.
The gum is basically free. So, wow, they didn't really spend a lot of money on anything in this thing. Well, that's why they're a very wealthy company.
Natural flavor means that it's not synthetic in origin.
Sometimes you'll see vanillin in an ingredient list, and that is manufactured vanilla flavor. Much less complex than a real vanilla bean and very cost effective.
You can get away with a lot if you write natural flavorings.
That said, it does have some specs in it, so probably some vanilla. We don't know.
It's a very solid supermarket brand.
Van Leeuwen Vanilla Bean Ice Cream.
Well, this one's very yellow.
Definitely has some egg in it.
Here you can see specs.
This is looking like a little more premium. This vanilla flavor is really good. It's still lingering on my tongue. It makes me want to go back for more.
It's rich, but the fat kind of melts out, which is characteristic of butterfat. Texture is great. It's smooth.
It doesn't feel like there's a lot of air in it, and it's leaning towards a French vanilla style.
It's very custardy, actually. So the color might really be coming from eggs. The sweetness on this one is absolutely perfect.
It has a bit of salt to it, too.
It helps all of the other flavors come out.
Kind of makes you salivate.
It's just like a well-made ice cream.
It's Van Leeuwen.
This is a New York brand.
They did a great job.
It is a French style ice cream.
Sea salt, look at that.
It just makes it pop.
They do write that it's vanilla extract and vanilla bean.
They just sort of give different notes of the vanilla. The vanilla extract is kind of like the anchoring flavor, if you will.
That baseline of this is what vanilla should taste like. When you combine it with the vanilla bean, you get those other hundreds of flavor profiles that the vanilla bean brings. And you can use a lot less of it because you've faked the funk on the extract. This is how you make small margins and people happy.
Happy with this one.
That is a delicious ice cream.
Edie's Vanilla.
No specs.
Pale yellow color, so that tells me there might be some egg yolk in there, which is nice.
Very soft. This is loaded with stabilizers. Oh boy, that's unpleasant.
The vanilla is very subtle.
Fades fairly quickly.
I don't even get richness.
There's something going on with the fat from just how it lingers.
Really nice texture. Super smooth.
It's definitely the sweetest I've had so far.
You can't even discern the dairy. It's so stabilized that nothing can melt on your tongue, so it goes down your throat before you even have a chance to decipher what it tastes like. I want this to be like a big old box.
Edie's.
I can't believe what I put in my own body just now.
On the East Coast, it's called Edie's. On the West Coast, it's called Breyer's.
Frozen dairy dessert.
Technically not ice cream. According to the FDA, if an ice cream has less than 10% dairy fat, you cannot call it ice cream legally.
14 is starts getting up near the premium.
First ingredient is skim milk.
No fat. So you have to compensate for that. Skim milk also has high water content, so you really need some stabilizers in there to prevent ice crystals forming and help it freeze.
The second ingredient is corn syrup, which I could have told you that.
Corn syrup is an invert sugar. Invert sugars are sugars that are liquids. They create very smooth textures. They don't like to freeze.
There's so many ways to screw up ice cream. Why did I get into the ice cream business?
Not my go-to.
Ben & Jerry's Vanilla.
This is a lovely, smooth scoop.
Air, again, some specs.
Nice vanilla flavor. I wouldn't mind a little more. This is a lower fat percentage, which I'm getting from the mouthfeel.
Not a lot of yolk, if at all.
The texture on here, very smooth, no ice crystals.
Melts very quickly. If I were to guess, not necessarily a lot of stabilizers.
Sweetness-wise, it's pretty balanced.
It's not super sweet.
No way, I'm so sad.
Ben & Jerry's.
It's got all the stuff it's supposed to have. Why does it taste like that?
Skim milk to me just doesn't really make sense in there. I think for a manufacturer, it makes sense. It's a cheap ingredient, but then you have to compensate with all this other stuff. There's 2 sugars in it, liquid sugar.
Liquid sugar means invert sugar.
It feels very smooth because it has that more aggressive and higher amount of sugar.
Sugar doesn't like to freeze, so it helps prevent ice crystals from forming and gives you quite a smooth ice cream. There's water in here, which feels weird. It's adding like some volume to it without adding cost.
I think it's a lot sweeter than I remember it.
If you like went across America and asked people what their favorite ice cream is, I think that a lot of people would say Ben & Jerry's.
This is so bad.
Turkey Hill, original vanilla.
Nice and thick, very dense.
I can smell vanilla or vanillin from a frozen form, so that means that it definitely has that like alcohol component to it that's literally evaporating into the atmosphere. The vanilla disappears immediately.
Maybe they forgot the middle. The dairy's actually not terrible. It's kind of actually relatively rich.
Texture is okay.
It's got a good bite. It's not melting.
It's not like super icy.
The sweetness is low.
It has like a yellowish tinge.
Tells me there's probably egg yolk in it, but it doesn't taste super fatty.
This one's giving me the turkey. That's turkey.
Turkey Hill.
Premium quality ice cream. When it says premium, that means higher milk fat and higher milk solids.
There's no egg in it. I was wrong. And again, it's got some food dyes in it.
Annatto is a seed. It grows in a pod, almost like chestnuts do.
It's red in its form. When you infuse it into things, you get kind of a yellowish color.
That and caramel color is what's giving this the faux yolk situation.
It really doesn't have a flavor, and it's not obviously adding anything to the texture.
Interesting.
They have engineered something that is a really good dupe for a very high-fat premium ice cream.
Not my fave.
Talenti Gelato, Madagascan vanilla bean.
This one is interesting. It's almost translucent.
It does have specks of quote-unquote vanilla bean.
Nice and thick, hangs on the spoon. Hopefully that means delicious fat and not stabilizers, but let's see. The vanilla in here is intense, not necessarily in a bad way.
Like it gives you first and lingering flavor. So vanilla extract and vanilla bean potentially.
I'm at a loss on this one.
It doesn't have that richness.
It's not pleasant.
It's definitely got like a nuttiness to it. It's not French style.
If it had some egg yolks, it might have a better texture.
Icier than any of the other ones so far.
Just a really poorly homogenized product. I hate being so critical, but I'm getting really good at it.
A little too sweet for me. That makes sense.
All right.
Talenti.
Their branding was fantastic.
This is the only one that's packaged like this, where you can see the ice cream and you can really see the vanilla bean.
It's gelato.
Gelato is always going to be lower fat content than ice cream.
It also generally doesn't have egg yolks.
Mostly milk and not cream.
It's a slower churned, slower frozen product.
A little more air worked into it.
Typically, gelato is served slightly warmer than traditional ice cream is. It's almost at the range of soft serve.
It also says here lemon peel.
Italian product, lemon is a big thing in Sicily.
The essential oils from the lemon probably can enhance the vanilla.
There is real sugar in here, but then you also have the dextrose.
Dextrose has almost twice the effect of like antifreeze, like drawing water and not letting it form crystals. It's less sweet than granulated sugar. It's a great thing to add to ice creams and gelatos to make them smoother but less sweet at the same time.
Now that I know it's a gelato, I'm a little less critical of.
Not as fatty and smooth as I would like, but definitely like a really lovely flavor profile.
Trader Joe's, French vanilla.
It's yellowish,
It's very gummy.
no specks.
Feels dense and smooth.
It's good.
Oh, wow, that's good. The vanilla flavor is really nice, even though it doesn't have the aroma.
Wouldn't necessarily call this like high quality vanilla, sort of artificial.
If it is imitation, they've used a very good one.
It's got a richness. It's creamy. It's probably got eggs in it.
It's super smooth.
Texturally, they're not doing a terrible job.
Definitely some yolk in the base.
really dense and creamy and fatty. The mouthfeel is great.
It's got a nice sweetness.
I think it's going for premium ice cream feel without necessarily being premium ice cream.
Trader Joe's French vanilla.
Super premium ice cream.
Well done, Trader Joe's. Cream is up first. Milk, great. Egg yolks. Feels like a more premium ice cream, which it says.
I did not know this was super premium.
So the difference between premium and super premium is fat.
It's quite fatty, which I like.
It's not super vanilla forward. I wouldn't have it if I was going for like vanilla as the flavor of the main thing, but a good sweet cream ice cream.
I haven't tried Trader Joe's before, and I think it's quite good.
My wife likes them. I don't like standing in lines.
Jeni's Honey Vanilla Bean.
This one looks like vanilla ice cream.
I can see the flecks all over.
We like to see that.
Does have a good amount of stabilizer. Not entirely a bad thing.
Oh yeah,
It's tasty.
very vanilla forward,
The vanilla beans, it seems real.
It's rich.
really smooth and velvety.
It's pretty high on the sweet level.
It's a little too sweet for me.
There might be a combination of like sugar and invert sugar in there. That's a good one.
This one's good. This one's checking a lot of the boxes.
Jeni's.
Honey vanilla bean.
Honey, that's a great addition.
You can taste like a bit of the acidity that honey has.
It's an invert sugar.
One way of thinking of inverted sugars is what we call the folded chair analogy. So the chair is the same chair, whether it's folded or unfolded, but by folding it, you're able to fit more chairs into the same space. Sucrose or granulated sugar is that open chair. Invert sugar is that folded chair that you can like fit. It's the same chair. It's made out of the same stuff. It's just formed differently. It prevents crystallization. So for Philadelphia style ice creams, it's very convenient to like remove crystal formation using a stronger sugar.
So that's also helping it be like really smooth.
That's also a little sweeter.
What honey has also is like a really unique flavor profile.
So tapioca syrup would be kind of like a gum solution, It's like tapioca is a starch, and it kind of brings that stabilizing effect to the product. So she doesn't have to use any real stabilizers, which is pretty badass.
Vanilla bean specs, and shortly before vanilla extract, you're immediately thinking like, oh, this ice cream is like premium quality because the vanilla specs are like in a high amount.
I think this is my favorite so far.
Halo Top Vanilla Bean.
This one looks like it was injected with air. It looks almost like foamy.
Unique-y, funny texture.
It doesn't weigh a lot, so maybe on the low calorie side, high air side.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what this is exactly.
This is void of flavor.
You see the specs, but you don't get like vanilla.
This is bizarro.
Very chemically aftertaste.
I can't imagine that any kind of cream is on the list of ingredients.
It's not very rich, but that might just be the amount of air that you have per spoonful.
It's melting very fast.
It's got a graininess to it, a little iciness. Something very unnatural about it. Halo Top comes to mind.
Is this hummus?
Ha! Halo Top.
Nailed it.
Lower in calories, lower in fat.
I could tell there was something suspicious going on here. They call it light ice cream.
I don't know if there's a window below that 10% fat content where you can call yourself light ice cream. That's something new to me.
Good source of protein, which is probably why it's also like elastic.
Yuck.
The first sugar mentioned is erythritol. So that's an alcohol sugar. Like dextrose, it's less sweet than granulated sugar, but even stronger than dextrose in its texture effect. Like it's in its antifreeze. And that's why it's like melting, but still like almost like holding shape with all the gums. And it also has like a chemical aftertaste.
Stevia leaf, which always to me has like a very sort of distinct kind of chemically taste.
When you add these other sugars, the caloric weight is probably lower. I guess it has to be.
It may be a good alternative for people that have diabetes or any other condition that needs to circumvent calories for.
I wouldn't eat this.
I mean, the whole point of ice cream is decadence, right? Like, no, I just want to eat ice cream. Just give me my ice cream.
I'll eat the good ice cream and run after them.
Alec's Tahitian Vanilla Bean.
I'm seeing some specs.
Subtle vanilla aroma.
Dairy melts immediately, so not a lot of protein, not a lot of stabilizers. The first icy one, very icy.
Ice is water, so
If it isn't stabilized in the right way, homogenized or emulsified with fat,
The ice cream might separate into its original like formula. Everything kind of like goes by density. So like fat at the top, water in the middle, sugars at the bottom. You can feel like crunchy bits as you're biting into it. It's all ice.
there's a pretty nice vanilla flavor.
There's not a lot of fat in this ice cream.
it's not rich and creamy.
I almost feel like it's non-dairy because of this like coconutty or like nuttiness I'm getting.
The texture you're going for in ice cream
Not quite creamy enough for me. This feels like the right amount of sweetness.
might be like an artificial sweetener, but not a potent one that keeps the ice cream smooth. I think this is a brand that has low fat and or low sugar in its marketing.
I want to say it's not like a super premium brand.
you-
Alec's A2 Dairy. The packaging is really cute. Happy cows on there.
Tahitian vanilla bean. Vanilla beans come from several places in the world. Tahitian, it reads well. It looks great on a label. They're all expensive and they're all very hard to produce. They're all premium.
It's got the real deal in there, plus Tahitian vanilla extract. So kind of getting like all of the notes of that vanilla. And I really like that flavor.
I mean, who doesn't want to go to Tahiti, right? Clean labels, not a lot of garbage, which they've done a good job. And it's made with A2 dairy. Certain cows produce milk that is less harsh on your stomach. So people who are lactose intolerant can sometimes tolerate A2.
Which is really nice because everybody should be able to enjoy ice cream.
Texturally, it kind of is working uphill with the lack of any kind of stabilization.
Too icy for me.
I wouldn't try to get it in a scoop and a cone and try to get out on a hot summer day because it's not going to last very long.
Friendlies, vanilla.
It is pale.
Diabolical white ice cream.
My guess is there's no egg in here.
Kind of looks like a really awesome like lemon sorbet.
No vanilla whatsoever.
Like I'm getting more artificial.
It's not creamy.
It doesn't taste very rich.
It's a really bad texture. It's foamy. It's almost like a marshmallow.
Whatever gum combination is in it is making it very chewy ice cream, if you will. It's a thing.
The sweetness is okay. It just doesn't taste very premium.
I feel like there's a rando sugar in here.
I don't guess, but a lower quality and like a more inexpensive one.
This is the biggest box of ice cream we've seen yet, I think.
Aha! Friendly's Vanilla, scooping since 1935.
Very famous for the Conehead Sundae.
Premium ice cream, so it meets the fat requirements.
Sweet cream buttermilk.
Buttermilk is the byproduct of butter making process, so you've like pulled out all the good fats. So it's not fatty.
But the third ingredient is corn syrup, and that's after sugar. So you're getting a very sweet, like very high sugar containing scoop.
Bunch of stabilizers in here.
Wargum, xanthan, and carrageenan.
The moment you see gum, it does exactly what you think gum does. It makes it elastic.
It'll help prevent melting.
It doesn't allow the water and the sugar to kind of like bind fully and kind of like start trickling down the way ice cream does normally. Gums are important for texture during transportation or like just the freeze-thaw cycles of every freezer.
They're all plant-based, so they read creepier than they really are, which has always kind of been a bummer.
But the flip side of it is that it makes it chewy as a result, just like gum is.
This just has all stabilizers in it.
We also do want our ice cream to melt a little bit because as it warms up, those flavors start to come out. I think for a lot of people, Friendly's is probably quite nostalgic, but it's not the most like vanilla forward.
Definitely not vanilla.
365 by Whole Foods. Vanilla.
This is yellow. It's almost the color of the table.
I don't know if it's annatto or egg yolks. We're about to find out. It's fooled me countless times today.
The vanilla's subtle. I wouldn't mind a little more.
I don't taste vanilla. It's definitely rich.
It's not overly creamy.
Texture-wise, it's on the smooth side, but it's very dense.
This buttery color could be egg yolks and it's French style. It feels like it has the richness, so hopefully that's coming from the dairy and not stabilizers.
It's not overly sweet.
It does have a really lovely sweetness. This is a really nice scoop.
Can't be a Whole Foods.
Ah.
365. Yep.
365 Whole Foods Market vanilla ice cream. annatto extract for color.
They tricked us.
No yolks, just milk ingredients.
I've never known annatto to be used when you weren't trying to fool somebody.
Feels very interesting to be like hoodwinked by commercial ice cream.
But the first two ingredients are whole milk and cream. So it does have that fattiness, which is really nice. Kind of middle of the road.
Back to the drawing board for this one.
Not great.
Adirondack Creamery, vanilla.
I like the look here. We've got lots of flecks of vanilla bean.
Like when you would see a TV spot and they would scoop it. This has that look. This has a really pleasant flavor.
True vanilla flavor. Kind of floral, like maybe Tahitian or something like that.
Longer lasting flavor than the other ones.
The dairy feels like nice and rich.
It's got a great texture.
Velvety smooth on the tongue.
Sweetness level's perfect. It's got some salt. It's dynamic.
Definitely, this feels very premium.
It's really great, actually. This might remind me of what I thought Häagen-Dazs was supposed to be. Ooh, Adirondack, yes.
Delicious New York State local brand. That's why it's called Adirondack.
Cream milk, sugar, non-fat dry milk, egg yolks, and vanilla extract. That's exactly what you want the label to say.
Special blends of vanilla beans from Tahiti and Madagascar.
To me, Tahitian vanilla is like a little more like brighter, lighter, floral. Madagascar, it's a little more robust. Really beautiful flavor.
Pretty tasty.
These guys are great.
McConnell's RR Lockhead Vanilla Bean.
This is one of the most vanilla ice cream aesthetics I've seen.
Lots of visible vanilla bean. It looks very creamy.
No fake annatto look. This is the best vanilla flavor we've had yet.
Whoever's making this and is using actual vanilla beans is
Fat content's very high.
Very smooth.
Texture's great.
I think it's the right amount of sweet.
this is a higher, if not finer tuned ice cream.
Really lovely.
This is really good.
No.
Oh, yeah. McConnell's, you guys, I tell you, you did good.
Our Lockheed proprietary Madagascar vanilla beans.
Our Lockheed, this guy, he's a vanilla guru from Madagascar. They've differentiated their vanilla. It ain't just Tahitian. It ain't just Madagascar. It's got that guy, the guru. It's got the guru's name on it.
There's no stabilizer added to this other than the yolk, which functions as a stabilizer in this case, and the tapioca starch. Tapioca starch is functioning as a stabilizer to retain water, to like fix it in place and swell, which is what fiber does. It's less stretchy, literally just cuts, and it melts at a good rate.
This is a top-notch ice cream.
It's one of my favorites so far.
Tillamook, vanilla bean.
It has a couple of specks here and there.
The color is pretty white, so I'm gonna say there's no egg in here.
You kind of think immediately, oh, this has like more milk than like butterfat.
That's a little like taffy.
It's nice. It's a very like natural vanilla flavor, which I really appreciate.
It's not super rich, but it has enough fat that it churns.
It has a really nice smooth mouthfeel.
Lighter by way of air. Reminds me of the Halo Top.
Sweetness on this one is high.
I think the sweetener is not all sugar, like just cane sugar.
It doesn't have the things I like about ice cream.
Is it Tillamook?
Tillamook.
Tillamook is West Coast.
Made with extra cream.
Yep, cream is the first ingredient.
It's a strange concoction of dairy products and sugar.
Tarragon and guar gum.
Not such a terrible thing, especially when ice cream is traveling. A little stabilizer is a great insurance policy.
It's reading good. Cream, skim milk, sugar, egg yolks.
It was underwhelming.
It's so crazy to me that it can have all the right ingredients and just not the right proportions.
I really like it.
Favorite day, homemade vanilla.
It seems eggy.
Very buttery yellow, very pretty.
Is it yolks or are they fooling me with annatto?
Doesn't really have the vanilla thing going on.
I think vanilla extract.
It tastes rich.
It's very creamy. There's no ice crystals.
It's custardy. Good texture. I think I eat past the flavor and I really like the composition of the ice cream itself.
The sweetness is really good.
Pretty balanced. It doesn't take much just to add some vanilla to these things. They really, yes, they do. Favorite day. I should have known.
This is Target store brand. Okay.
Homemade vanilla flavored yum ice cream.
It's ice cream. It's not a frozen dessert, so that means it's got enough fat, which I can taste that.
It says homemade, but package laboratory experiment. It has quite a bit of stuff here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I can't read all this. There's 900 ingredients in here. This is impressive.
But a lot of them are repetitive, which is kind of weird. It repeats water like 5 times.
First few ingredients are straightforward, what we want to see. We've got milk, cream, sugar, custard base, some preservatives.
This is the opposite of clean labeling. That's insane. I just can't imagine this factory's storage of ingredients.
Vanilla is not listed in the ingredients. It just says natural flavor.
Oh, how do you put homemade on this? In what world does that even translate to what this product is?
All that being said, this is it's a nice tasting vanilla.
They somehow ended up with a great texture, which I'm blown away by.
Now let's see which ice creams our experts liked the most and the least.
From a guy who owns an ice cream company, I don't think I've ever eaten that much ice cream in one sitting.
One of my favorite ice creams I tasted today was McConnell's because they had lingering both front and floral vanilla flavor.
The texture and the amount of vanilla bean and the quality of the dairy was just above and beyond.
Clean label, few ingredients.
That's the kind of ice cream that you can go back to because it's not too sweet.
I loved the Adirondack vanilla ice cream. That was French style. So it had the egg yolks in it.
There was very good vanilla flavor.
Super creamy.
Texturally, formulation was very well balanced.
I also really liked Jeni's.
Texturally, was awesome.
The vanilla bean with the honey, I loved that. I thought it was so interesting and smart to use a different kind of sweetener in there that has its own flavor profiles.
One of my favorite things about ice cream is having that salt profile.
It was really creamy and it had a beautiful richness to it.
At the end of the day, Jenny's just really conscious of the ingredients she puts in her ice creams.
I also really like Van Leeuwen's vanilla ice cream. This ice cream was rich tasting, but not super fatty. A very good vanilla, very good dairy profile, very clean. As for the ice creams that I didn't enjoy as much, I wasn't a big fan of Friendly's. Too artificial flavoring and the texture was off for me.
It just didn't have enough fatty deliciousness in there.
I like to think of as like that necessary evil.
It's very nostalgic.
It is at a great price point, and it makes many, many, many people happy. I just might not be one of those people. The halo top kind of fell short for me as well.
I don't want anything that is like diety, low calorie, low fat.
You know, I don't really want to feel good about myself when I'm eating ice cream. I'm kind of fine with, being in the empty bathtub, maybe the shower running.
It just didn't have quite the right flavor or texture. Those alternative sugars had an aftertaste that I didn't really like.
I also wasn't a fan of Turkey Hill. The vanilla disappeared. The texture was off and had too many gums going on.
As a pastry chef, ice cream is one of my favorite things to make, and I kind of think the simpler the better.
What you want to do is to try to lean towards few ingredients, cream first or milk first.
Look for ones that say ice cream as opposed to frozen dessert, because that's not technically ice cream. But at the end of the day, if you like it, then it's good ice cream to you.
But I feel like if you just take it home and don't eat the whole thing, you might as well throw it out. It just sits there. It's going to get all freezer burnt. Eat it. It's a portion. So this is me, an ice cream professional, telling you that you can eat the entire pint of ice cream in one sitting.